Hello everyone. I need to do a audio and what did I just say? And visual. Audio check and a visual check to make sure that you can see and hear. It looks fine on my end. Yeah, I think everything's fine. I'm still trying to get used to this new way of this new whatever studio. Okay, yes. All right. Hello, Linda C, Laura C, and Jill, and thank you letting me know that you can see and hear. That's awesome. Working on several art pages at once. Yep, I hear ya. Hi, Darlene. Happy Sunday. uh, Everything's going good with you guys? I'm sad. I already watched all of Money Heist. I can't believe it. I think I'm just going to watch the whole series all over again. Actually, I think I was going to go back and watch The Witcher again. Probably that's what I'll do tonight, is my guess. I'm just sad that Money Heist went so fast. They did I don't know if this was up already, but they had a documentary about the show. That was fun. I watched that last night as well. What do I need for this page? This is just a page I have in progress. This was actually the first thing I did in this new manila file folder journal, just to see how it would handle watercolor. And I kind of want to add more watercolor to it, because now that I've added these other punchy colors, she doesn't seem like she's got enough color to her. Oh, Ozark. I think I'm like halfway through Ozark. I probably should finish that. I had to stop watching it because Money Heist came out, and I was like, oh, nope, watching Money Heist. I'm also part of the way through one called Lock and Key, which is really, really good too. It was awesome, wasn't it, Laura C? It was so good. And the ending, again, the season endings, they're killing me with it. They just leave you hanging so much. Yeah, I'm not even going to say the name of that show, Jill. I think like it's a no. That is a huge, gigantic no for me watching that show. I could not. I haven't clicked on it. I've heard enough about it to know what it's about, but I could not get through the beginning of Pandemic, because like the first, and that's like the one that's more like an hourly, I think, TV show. Anyway, like the first 5 minutes, they had him walking through an animal testing thing, and I'm like, no, like, why are we still testing on animals? There are better and even less costly ways to test nowadays. Yeah, cliffhanger. They love cliffhangers on that show. So frustrating. So good, but so frustrating. Let me see if I've done anything. I did do a tiny bit of additional stuff here. I went ahead and made this look better. Added another flower, and then I really just started messing with this poor guy, and I added this guy on here. But this guy is like, I don't think he appreciates me very much. I did not do all that much with this. I did do a little work on some of the train cars, but I had this in the apartment with me, and I didn't have paint, so I didn't do anything else on it. Linda C, yeah, I can't give that show even the, like the views from, me watching it. No, not gonna happen. Anyway, so let's see. And then this was, again, I want to just kind of punch her up really quickly, I think. But first I need to make it so this is a little higher. And I don't remember what I used to raise it up last time that was like a good height. So I'm going to use this right here. still slanted a little, but it, you know, not so much that it's going to, like the watercolor is going to run off the face or something. And let's see, I think I'll just start with a round brush. I'm mainly interested in really just kind of punching up the colors a little. For instance, I'd like to get a little bit of this type of color, and I don't know what's with the lighting. It's not off, it's just a little dark, but who knows. So I'm gonna wet a color that's not that color, but might be similar. And I'm just going to add some darks, deepen up what darks are in here already. And then I've got a bright pink I can mix with that. And same thing on this side here. This is technically, I think, is this a gouache? This is either a gouache or it's a koi watercolor paint. Those koi watercolors have like a, they almost make me think that they're like a low quality gouache. They're very grainy, and like they have a lot of binder, almost gritty. And that's not to say I don't like them, they're just not like a traditional watercolor, to me anyway. That's my view on them. Doesn't mean I'm right. Just means I'm opinionated. So how's everyone doing with your impromptu staycations? Hi, Laura Kay. Stranger and Safe. Don't think I've watched either one of those. Kind of stay away from the ones that are weird but not in a cool way, if you know what I mean. I don't remember. There is something different about the Curateak, but I don't remember what it was. And I don't have any, so that's why I kind of like, I know there is something weird about them, but since I don't have them, I didn't store that information. I'm going to make this even darker if I can, just by adding more pigment over it. These file folders are awesome, absolutely awesome to work on, but they do soak up the color, and it sits a little on the surface, so you have to be careful not to wipe it away. But you can really kind of pile up or layer up the watercolor on here, which is interesting. And it does really fun stuff when you go over it with water. Like, it gets really super soft. The edges do. Hello, Big Mama Bird from Vermont. How are things going in Vermont? You have like the best senator ever, just saying. They are like halfway between a true watercolor and a gouache. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I like watercolors that have a little opacity sometimes. Yeah. I use a lot of gouache, just watered down, in replace of certain colors. Like my black that I use all the time, my sort of like, what is it called? It's like a neutral gray. That one I use all the time as a gouache. Yeah, I've probably got 3 or 4 gouache just in this watercolor palette. Oh, really? I think they're called Curateak Gansai, aren't they? Gansi, I think. Yeah, they're the ones that are like the big squares, I think, instead of being little pans. They're like these long rectangles, not square. Why did I say squares? Long rectangles. Let me see what else, if anything, do I want to do with her. I mean, just adding that that depth, that dark color in the background really sort of helped. But maybe a little more color in her face too. Let's see. I think I'm going to take the hot pink that I have, and I know you guys can't really see it, but I can't get this. This is like, when I work in a journal this size, it takes up the whole video space. And if I try to, like, I could lift the camera up higher and you could see more of the desk, but then you see less detail. And that can get really frustrating when I've got students who are wanting to be able to see a little more detail of what I'm doing. Anyway, I just mixed some of that hot pink along with some sienna. I don't know if I said that. Finished that thought. To kind of get just a little bit of a deeper skin color. A little more red. So what has everybody been doing? Just chilling out, watching too much television, doing too much cooking and too much eating. That's my problem. Yeah, you're quarantining and you've got a lot of businesses are closed. Well, I mean, it's good that there's a lot of closures. Not in my state. The worst governor in the world. Can't stand him. Amazon. Oh, yeah. Don't buy stuff off of Amazon right now that's not necessary, though. Wait. You can wait. Every time we order like non-essential stuff, you know, all these different people have to touch that product and package it and ship it and deliver it. And that not only does that put you at risk for every one of those people that touched it, but also it puts all of those people at risk for something that's not an essential right now. You know what I mean? Like, there's way too much of people just spending money to kind of feed their boredom, when what they should be doing is figuring out why being alone or closely together with your loved ones is boring to you. Like, that's a far more important thing to figure out. The pigment in the Curatex is very deep, yeah, intense, lots of pigment. Well, that's good that you painted, Laura K. I mean, it's not easy. For some people anyway. For some of us, it's just not easy. Hi, Trish. Except housework. You didn't do housework? Yeah. I've been doing a lot of housework, a lot of yard work, and unfortunately, having too much time available to plan to eat, which means I'm cooking and eating more than I should be. I'm gonna have to like really work at not eating so much. Oh. Yeah, old t-shirts, very awesome. Yeah, I just watched a video 5 minutes ago where they took a handkerchief and folded it and then used rubber bands, and it was basically like a no-sew version, which I thought was cool. You know, you got to do what you got to do. I was in a store yesterday. The only time I've gone out in probably a week and a half, because I had to do pickup shopping, and I had to go into one store, and I had my mask on, and the store owner had his mask on, and he was limiting. It was a small store, and he was limiting it to only one customer in the store at a time. And his mask, the little bands that you know, the little elastic bands for his ears, one of them broke, and he lost, and his mask fell off, and he was like, great, that's the only mask I had with me today. So I think he was going to try like stapling that back together to try to get through the rest of the day. I felt really bad for him because I could tell he was like, I really don't want to face the day. And it was only like noon, and he was like, I really don't want to face the day without a mask at all. I think I'm going to cut that little toucan out right there. Yeah, walking the dogs. That's one task I don't have that I would probably enjoy having right about now. But I do at least work out in my yard anyway. What I need to be doing is working out. Oh, you made your first ever sourdough bread. Cool. Yeah, I don't think I've ever made even a Halloween mask. I felt a little weird wearing the mask in the store, but thankfully the store owner had one on too, so that felt a little more, you know, well, a little less weird anyway. I might use that. I'm looking for things that fit this color theme that I have going on. So, or if not, then something that just like looks really wild and interesting to go with it. What is this? I like this little bit of, I guess it's just like someone's art journal. I'm going to just cut up, you know, get the parts that I want and not worry about the rest of it. I think I'm going to get back into using sprays. Well, that's that same stuff. I was trying to use some of that canvas that I had gotten out for one video that I've done in the last week or two, and I was like frustrated trying to, like, you know, get paint through it with the paintbrush or even like the stipple brush or whatever you call that. And finally I was like, you know, I just need to get back into buying sprays. So other than Dilutions, do you guys know, are any other sprays like really good? The Dilutions one are like a little too powerful for me. I have one that is, what is this one? I think, no, this is not even that one. This is the Adrian Dac, but it's all the same company. And this thing is, you get one little dot of it and it could color half a page. Oh, okay, yeah, cardboard and staples. Okay, I do know what you're talking about. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, hey, whatever, you know, keeps you at home is better than being tempted to go out into the world right now. Because it's just not a good, you know, not a safe thing to do. And it's not just that it's not safe for us, but it's not safe for the other people that actually have to be out there. If you know what I'm saying. I think I probably just used some of the stuff that I've got right now. I just need and or want to have a few more things here to kind of finish this page out. This page doesn't really, at this moment anyway, have a lot of meaning. Mostly just playing with the colors, but the meaning will come to me. It always does. And then I want to finish the other page that we started on the last stream, or at least get the sky in. It's bugging me every time I look at it, and it doesn't have the sky painted in. All right, that is a cute little toucan. Yeah, his beak is going to disappear though. What if I turn it around? There, that's better. Yeah, he can go like that. And we'll see with this. That's really weird scheduling, Jill. But I guess that's what they have to do. Yep, I can believe it. I went to pick up the grocery order, and the young person who was putting the grocery order in the car did not have gloves or a mask. I asked him if they were allowed to wear them, and he gave, he was, I'm sure, why are you asking me this, that kind of thing. But he said, yeah, they were, but that they didn't have any. And so they only gave them to people who were face-to-face, like running cash registers, which I can understand, but it seems, wrong that people are required to go to work without being provided any kind of protection. But I also went to the pet store, and they were also doing curbside, and they also did not have masks or gloves. Well, they all didn't. Some did, which I thought was interesting. I wonder if they were allowing them to bring in their own, and that was why. I'm not really sure. I'm going to put this upside down just so the writing, it's not my journaling or anything, so I'll just camouflage it a little bit. The young man that I asked him, I said, if I bring you a mask, will you wear it? I was like, because I can get you a mask. And he actually said no. He said no, he didn't have that much close face to face, because he's mostly just putting stuff in the cars, and that he probably wouldn't wear it. And I was like, oh, but you can't, you can't make people do things they don't want to do. All right, I was going to put him down, but I think I'm going to put him up higher, and that way he can have long legs. And I did not end up using this one. I really like this one, but I love that paper, so we'll see. I'll use it somewhere else. You've already had 5 coworkers test positive. Oh my goodness! How many of the patients are positive? Are they even testing the patients? Yeah, make your own. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been inside of a grocery store. I've heard rumors that some of them are installing plexiglass, but I haven't been inside of one. That's the one, that and the pet food store are the 2 things that are doing curbside, so I haven't had to go in. Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard to put in a plexiglass barrier. It's also not that hard to just make the round plastic shields that go over the entire face. if they can't put in a plexiglass barrier, they should at least provide those. I don't know. I don't understand this current like wave of ignorance of not wanting to protect other people or yourself or your employees. Like I just I just can't with that. I cannot with anyone putting other human beings' lives at risk, and to do it for profit is just disgusting in my opinion. I'm just gonna finish out some little circles here just because that's what was these cucumbers. I guess these are cucumbers. This must be like super zoomed in. That's not a very good circle, is it? And this is Prismacolor. I don't know if it'll erase at all or not. I could do this one. I guess I should just do it like that. That's pretty good. This is not quite round either, but anyway, it's fine. Let me see if it'll erase at all. I need something that has an eraser. Oh, look at that, a little bit. Not so much over the paint. Well, no, not too bad. Cool. All right, so wow. I feel for you guys because you're working basically in a a very enclosed, limited environment, and I'm assuming from the rumors that I've heard about how different states are handling it, I would question if your patients would even get any help. If they were in Florida, I don't think they would. Some states have really archaic rules that they allow for triage decisions. I think that's something that we need to forcibly change in this country. When this is over, there never should be anyone that it's okay to let them die. That should never, ever, ever happen. All right, this thing, like, oh, I did get paint this time. Never mind. I started to say that this thing never like allows any paint to come down, but it did a lot that time. And then this color I want more of and still haven't found it. And now, obviously, I'm not going to go browsing around the different art stores, but this is called Lemonade, and I love this color. This is technically watercolor and mixed media, but I think I'm going to use just an acrylic brush. They can. They're awesome to work on, these folders are. They're like really buttery smooth, so if you want to use colored pencil, not that I do like a ton of colored pencil nowadays, or ever really, but every once in a while I do enjoy a little bit, and they're super buttery smooth, and colored pencil just like goes really sort of like soft, very little texture. It's like buttery on this paper. And then like I said, watercolor, it stains really easy, but it dries. All the edges seem to dry a little bit softer. It's easier to get sort of a smooth, soft transition. Definitely having fun working on it, and I was gonna make another one this size, but this used to be my favorite size art journal to work on, but something has changed with me because I kind of like one this size better now. So I bought enough supplies to make two this size, or what I'm going to do is just cut them in half and just basically make two with the supplies I have left, and then they'll just be smaller. But I think it is a good, if you want to make your own journal and you want it to be similar to the Dilutions journal, it's definitely a good option for that. However, it's just easier in a way to just use the Dilutions ones. I just wanted to try this out, but I'm perfectly happy to just keep using the Dilutions ones after this. I'm not a big bookmaker, I guess. It's kind of one of those things where I just have to sort of be in the mood to want to use a handmade journal. That seems to be the only time I'm really interested in making books. And I get really nervous and precious about it. Like, I'm constantly afraid I'm going to ruin it somehow. Like, how can you ruin making your own book? I don't know. But there we are. I remember being really nervous when I made this one, that I was going to mess it up. And then I was super disappointed because just a few of the threads were loose on like one little signature, and I was like all sad about it when I realized it. And then I thought to myself, why does this even matter, really? Oops, I just see some more green right here. Cool. I'm a little nervous about spilling that paint. I had so much in the cap. I don't want to wear it today. Third world thinking. About what? I must have missed something. Oh, I know what you're probably talking about. You're probably talking about who they're going to sacrifice. Like, is this Hunger Games, U.S. Hunger Games now? You know, like they're talking about who they're going to save and who they're not and who they're going to sacrifice. And it's so frustrating because the whole thing was like, you know, he shipped out how many supplies? Like 17 million, or I forget what it was now. Like this huge amount of our supplies. He shipped them out last year. In February. So that it would be a manufactured lot, the fact that we don't have any supplies was actually caused by him. He created that vacuum intentionally so that he could then do a bunch of commercial deals with private business, private industry, just to make a profit off of, this is our president profiting off of us and using us as nothing more than consumers. We're not citizens or, his people. We're his consumers. It's just mind-boggling that he's still in the White House. Just blows my mind. All right, I need I want a colored pencil that will show up over top of this, so I think I'm going to go with like a yellow ochre. But I'm probably going to pick a couple out of here and then see how they look, because I might actually end up having to go to like an orange to get it to show up. I have a yellow, beautiful yellow ochre sort of color, but oh, here it is right here. But I only have like this tiny little bit left. All right, let me put this back. And let's see how much you can even see. Oh, that's really good, actually. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can see it. But we'll try the others. This one I think is going to be a little bit more orange. Yeah, don't kind of see that one, but not as well. And then this one's going to probably appear a little more. Nope, actually this one ended up appearing. Oh, well, that would be because I think it's the same color. Hold on, goldenrod. Yep. It's the same color. Anyway. His methods are criminal. Yeah, it's murder for profit. Yeah. Yeah. Our entire political process, though, they're all criminal. You know, they're currently right now demanding that Wisconsin voters go and vote in the middle of a pandemic when they could just easily vote by mail, but no. It's just not the country I thought I lived in. That's all I can say. Definitely not what I thought this country was all about. I don't know. How does that look? It looks kind of random, doesn't it? I think it probably would have been better if I would have started. I'm trying to remember, what does a cucumber look like? Are they in any kind of order? They're not. They don't look like you know, seeds in a fruit or anything like this, where they would kind of go around. I don't think they do that, do they? I can't really tell from these. These pictures don't look like it, but who knows? All right, I think I'm gonna try. Let's see if I can find. Oh, it's not in here. I'm gonna try an off-white paint marker if I can figure out what I did with them. Here we go. I had a bunch of. Oh, I have a yellow too. Hang on. I had a bunch of my paint markers in my pencil bag, and I like cleaned it out really quickly, and I took my off-white marker out, and that one should always just like live in my you can see that yellow. It should just always live in my pencil bag. Everybody got quiet. Is everyone creating? What are you guys creating today? Since I'm not really teaching, just creating. I don't know. I think I need to move on from this page and go paint the sky on that other page. Let me mute really quickly and dry this so that I can close the page. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Okay, so I want to work on this page, and the main thing that I want to try to do is do something with the sky. And I'm wondering if I shouldn't, I think I'm going to try watercolor, just because watercolor is a lot easier to cover a large area. It's, if I don't like the watercolor, then I'm probably going to use gouache. But first I need to find my paintbrush. I had it out here. Oh, no, that's not it. Maybe it's in my pen bag. Hang on. I don't see it anywhere. They were both of the ones I wanted were in there. All right, I'm gonna start with the mop brush, and I'm gonna work upside down. So I'm just gonna turn this all the way around. There we go. And this is pen, so I'll probably have to come in at some point somehow to cover that up as well. I was just jotting down a phone number super fast because someone was on the phone. So I'm going to want some of this right here. Something like that. This is gonna be way too light though. Yeah, I might end up going with gouache in the end. We'll see. When you're doing broad areas like this paper is a little, or well, paper, yeah, it is technically paper. It's a little weird with this file folder because they're really not meant to have water on them, so they act really strange. I'm just playing with like different blues, trying to figure out the one I like the best. Lighter blues to mix with this, and all I'm trying to kind of do is this part here. And you can see how it like sits on this surface for like a really long time. It's fun, I think, to paint with it though, or to paint on it though. It's like a whole new type of paper or something. So like all new challenge. But yeah, it's not going to work with that right there. I'll have to do something over there. You're creating stuff to send to a friend in New York City. She needs collage stuff. Yeah, that's always fun to send someone and then see what they do with it. You're sketching to paint later. Just watching. Just having coffee and watching. Yep, I hear you. Oh, adding birds on a wire. Do you mean to this? Is that what you mean, Darlene? I did a couple of light poles, some with and some without birds in the last journal. I still don't know what I'm going to do with this mess right here. I haven't decided. Yeah, it's definitely really light compared to, like, it would take me a long time, I think, to get it dark enough. I think this is definitely going to probably end up having to be done again with gouache instead. But let me try to push myself a little. See, I liked that blue until it was in that strength, and then I don't like it at all. A big chunk of watercolor right there. See, and now it's just like it's oversaturated. It's all pilling up, so I'm gonna just stop. Oh no, Jill, that's terrible. Does he think he might have a fever, or he just needs to be able to check for his own purposes of the next 2 weeks? Yeah, it's getting hard to be on some social media because there's so many people posting about loved ones and sudden surprise of realizing someone that is around you is ill or could potentially be ill. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna give up, so to speak, and transition to gouache. Now, what did I do with my gouache? All right. I was watching Money Heist, for those of you that know what I'm talking about, and they're doing like the gold bars, and I won't say anything more about it, but I was watching the show and I was watching the documentary where they were talking about how the gold bars that they used for the show melted under the pressure of the water. And I was, they spent a bit of time talking about it, so I spent a bit of time looking at them, and then I'm like, they could just like cover them, and that's how you hide your gold bars. No, obviously that would never happen, and it was dumb, but it was funny to me at the time. Let's see, different palette entirely, but I think I can do it, and it'll go over these phone numbers. All right, there's going to be quite a lot of mixing. I think I'll try this blue. Yeah, I like that blue better. I gotta put something behind that as well. There's so much water here from the attempts with watercolor that it's, like making almost like a glaze just from mixing with all that water that's there. About that. Now it looks like it's too dark. It's swapped upside down, yeah. Yeah, I would if I had kept like going over it. Not though anywhere near as much as you would if you had like a low quality watercolor paper. You know, like how I'm sure it's happened to all of us. You get like those free extra pages. I'm trying to think like if you buy a watercolor kit, like I bought a Chinese watercolor set, and it came with like a little, I think it was 2 different types of watercolor paper. Anyway, but they were both like kind of not a very good quality paper, and they would just pill up immediately, and you'd have all these like almost like you were trying to do like a transfer, you know, a print transfer, and it's not like that. It does pill up, but if you leave it alone and, you know, walk away and let it kind of dry, or, you know, and not like keep digging at it, then it's doesn't remain like this. All the dots that you see here aren't as much paper pilling up as they are it like oversaturates and begins to like just kind of break down the page itself. So it's like soaked in, but like there's not any actual pilling. There's nothing. There is like, I think, well, I don't even think there is here. Not really. So it's not really pilling as much as it is just like an odd staining that happens. And some of it fades when it dries, but some of it doesn't. So like the places where it appears like it's like pulled in more water, those do remain darker. So it's just, again, like it's like anything else that we work with. It's just, you know, you have to learn what it can and can't do, what you can and can't do with it. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's probably my favorite part of mixed media art is just playing with the tools and kind of manipulating them and seeing what I can get them to do. Gonna add a little water. I'm going really thin because I feel like it's a little too dark over here, and I know if I kind of keep it a little thinner, maybe it won't be. But then I start to, you know, like, what's the difference between this and the watercolor I was? Well, anyway. And there should be some light right there, so I'm actually just gonna try putting some white in and seeing what happens. I think it's going to go too green, so I added a little yellow, but there is a hint of yellow there, but too late. I should have put the yellow in without putting the blue in. I think I'm going to go more on the warm side to finish this side of it off. I think I'm going to turn these into little houses, by the way. I thought a lot about it, and I think I'm going to make them like little container houses. Like tiny, like they do with the tiny house container homes. Shipping, that's it, shipping container homes. So this down here looks odd compared to all the rest of it. So I'm going to bring in some red. What a mess that sky is. Not at all what like this at all. Oh, tornado sky, yeah, with the red. Yeah, I actually watched someone building container houses in Minecraft the other day, and that's what made me think of it. And the railroad cars, but I don't think they use railroad cars for that ever, do they? I mean, I think I've seen like a few old-timey like caboose type of houses, but I think shipping containers are different somehow. I'm not really sure. I've honestly never really thought about it, but what I thought I would do would be something like, let me find my small black Posca, which I may not be able to find because, again, I dumped all my stuff out of my bag. Hang on a minute, let me see if I can find it. I think this is it. I actually have a couple of them. But yeah, so like this could, ooh, feels weird because it's wet. So like this could be, let's see, do like, very dorky though, mind you. And yes, all my windows have to look like this. I don't know why. I have to go and look at what some shipping containers look like, shipping container houses, because I have no idea off the top of my head. But something along those lines anyway. And then these that are dark I can make into, I think it just has a line down the center. And then I think just a handle, isn't that? Yeah, I think that's right. I don't know, I'd have to look at what they look like, but if they're left the doors, they look like that. Or they can change it and make it into something else. But yeah, I have to go look some up and figure out what they look like. Oh, you saved a honeybee. That's awesome. I'm allergic to honeybees. I would have to save him with gloves and a net. They can go onto trains. That's what I was wondering. I know they go onto boats and trucks, but I wasn't sure if it worked that way or not. Railway cars are wheeled units for train tracks only. Okay, cool. Oh, goodness. All right, well, this is super, super wet now. I think I'll put color over here. Again, I'm still just not, I just don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm actually going to change the color of it, though, and make it dark, or like, one, because like here it's like very mottled color, and I'm going to change that and just make it a dark khaki. You still have snow there. Yeah, I don't know what it is today, but it'll be back in the 90s here again this week. We don't have winter. We literally barely even get any, like a couple of weeks of cold, and that's it. And for us, it's like your spring nights, that's how cold it gets for us, maximum. So I'm just going to go right over this. I don't know that I'll transform all of them, but I'm going to transfer some of them anyway. Do I have any bees? Who? I have nut trees in my front yard, macadamia nut trees, so I have bees all the time. I think I'm gonna paint this color and then experiment to see if I can layer over it. This is as close to a navy blue as I have, and it's not really, it's not quite navy. I thought I had, oh, I have indigo, that's what I have. But that indigo is not really, in my opinion, a true indigo. Yeah, so. Did I just switch from, I just randomly switched from gouache to acrylic. I tell you, I'm going to end up going back to just being an acrylic painter again. Ever since I started using them, I got these little craft paints again and started painting with them. For whatever reason, I just end up going right to them. But that color didn't work at all whatsoever. It's extremely blue. So what happens if I mix this lilac? I'm going to just mix on the tabletop over here. Oh, way too much. This lilac. And this blue. Still gives me an extremely blue color, so the lilac is just not strong enough, or it would have to have like a tiny little bit of blue, and I put a ton in. It's getting a little pink now. It's good, but it needs to be dull. So, hello, pavement. What's my favorite color? Pavement. It's a great neutral. All right, let's try it this way. Yeah, still too light. That's that light lilac that I put in the beginning. I might just remix completely. There we go. Only problem is it's really close to the sky color right there. I'm just gonna paint over the whole thing. These buildings are just gonna have to be rebuilt. I haven't liked them since I started with them. And I'm just gonna paint over each one. This is why I don't mix on the tabletop, though. I didn't mix near enough. Yeah, they completely match, almost completely match the sky. Which isn't, you know, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. I think I'm gonna go ahead and make this one dark too. think I'm gonna go and find, probably won't do it today, but I'm gonna go find some photos of some industrial buildings that you would typically see at like the industrial train depot places where they would offload, you know, stuff like grain and rock and whatever all they offload from rail cars nowadays, if any. Oops. Oh. Should have got a paint palette so I could mix up a ton and not sit there and fuss with it. I'm gonna do this next one mostly just purple and whatever color is still viable in this mess here. Yeah, and this will be fine because I wanted this to just kind of fade out anyway. So I can just put in some good details into these couple here to make it look, you know, hint at realism anyway. It's not going to make it completely realistic. And then this side here can just kind of fade out. Which I know this looks like really weird for you guys because of all the shininess. That looks terrible the way I stopped with it. So there we go. All right, that looks better. Grain elevators, that's what they are. Thank you. I could not think for the life of me what they were. I kept wanting to say just grain silos, but I'm like, why would they have those there? Because that's where they just harvest and store. So, but yes, grain elevators, that makes sense, I guess. Because that way you can get it and put it from a rail car into drop it down into a truck or whatever different things you're going to use to haul it from there. All right, I have like 15 paint jars open here. So my homework at this point, or what I will do off camera a little later tonight probably, is figure out how to make these look cool, and then either figure out how to transform these into what I want them to be, or what I might actually do is see if I can find any in my collection, see if I can find any container houses that I could cut out one or two to go with it that would help give it that, like, lend it a little more of that air of what it should be. Otherwise, I'll just look at the features of some so I can kind of try to make them look into, you know, look more like what I have in my mind that they should look like. And probably paint clouds for this page anyway. I think that's about it. And then on this one, the only thing, it's probably dry enough. Put this in there. The only thing I didn't do here was I did not draw his little legs, and I'm just gonna give him, oh, is this a, it's almost like this marker's not working. Just gonna give him little stripy legs, I think. I don't think that that foot should go up. I'm just gonna give him regular flat feet. Yeah, this marker, I think there's something wrong with it. It's doing a nice line in 1 minute, and then the next minute it's putting a bunch of ink out at one time, or paint. think that was it for this one. I just have to figure out what more, or, you know, is anything more going to be happening, and then kind of make these cucumber slices look a little better. I just realized I never finished this giant one either. So I'm going to do that too. Just complete the, you know, little tiny bit that will need to be there. And I think I drew that with this one. I think I did the other ones. That's something like this. Doesn't really matter. They're about approximately like that. Oh, yeah, I left my paintbrush in the water. I think I'll take just a little bit of white paint. Alrighty, that is all I'm going to do for today. Unless anyone like had anything that I don't think I said I was going to do anything else, but you never know. I sometimes say I'm going to do something else and then forget. Oh, I probably need to get that out of there before it dries that way. This is a dark and moody page. It's a little bit like this right here, painting the buildings the way I did, made this whole thing just a little dark and moody. Not that this wasn't already, but I'm really almost tempted to do like completely reverse here and maybe try to pull some of this color out into the building. So like make a yellow building, a teal colored building, maybe a red one, just because it's like, I think that would maybe help a little bit. Give it a little, like some interest, make it a little brighter and more interesting. Not sure. This one's definitely not done. But every once in a while I'll have one that doesn't come together quickly and easily, which I think those are fun, just as much as the ones that just, like happen right away. The ones that require a little more effort are just as, in the end, I end up liking them just as much. So you're very welcome, everyone. A little more low-key today, but it's fun to at least, hang out and chat about things a little bit and grump about the terrible way our country's being led in general. But anyway, all right, guys, thank you. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you around the internets.